Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is talking about Stickerwoman in Gwent, Jenni Swayne. And the reason why I wanted to do another video about her is because of several things that have happened. Number one, and most importantly, her crowdfunder is absolutely flying. I last checked it last night and it was on like £38,000. I would not be surprised if it hits £50,000 today. My hair is annoying me. If you are able to help Jenni defend her right to free speech, please do so. It's great to see her story has been picked up more broadly in the media. Of course it has been. It's a great story. The visual image it conjures up the police chasing a 50-year-old woman on a mobility scooter. And I have a mobility scooter, right? And they can go a maximum of 4 to 6 miles an hour. So you can imagine, and we're fairly restricted. I mean, there are a lot of even shops we can't go into, and like public footpaths that have got steps, dropped curbs that are missing. So, you know, she's got a fairly predictable exit line from any building. She's not one of these criminals that's going to be up and over a wall. It's not going to give you a workout to catch up with a 50-year-old woman on a 4-mile-an-hour mobility scooter. So lots more time to stop for coffee and donuts. I also wanted to talk about some really quite distressing news that has emerged regarding the individual who has such a streak of bad luck that they encounter razor blades behind stickers in several different cities around the country over a period of several years. That person is called Layla Stokes, and they are okay, so this is distressing, and it relates to a sexual crime. So do skip ahead if you wish to. Layla Stokes made a series of comments in social media about his culpability for sex crimes. He says in these tweets that he has been accused by an ex-partner of engaging in sexual violence against them. So he is, of course, the biggest victim in all of this, because he might have to give up doing stickers. He blames the fact that this ex-partner was a victim of crime. He claims that he was psychotic and another personality took over and he didn't know what happened for a couple of weeks. I say that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works, okay? I just want to, like, dissociative identity disorder is a really, really vanishingly rare mental health issue that applies to the tiniest number of people. Literally, I can count them on the fingers of one of my hands, the people that I've encountered with this condition in my career in mental health. And it doesn't result in like a different personality has taken over. No, that's not how it works. And do you know what? The people who experience this particular disorder are survivors of extreme trauma, and they are pretty much reacting like traumatized people who are incredibly dissociated, because that's what they are. They're not a different kind of person. They're not a special kind of multiple personality person. They're a person who is very upset and is sometimes age regressing a little bit, but essentially, you know, they're clearly incredibly vulnerable and need to be taken care of during periods of dissociation. I've never encountered anybody with dissociative identity disorder who claimed to be excused from committing crimes because they were in a period of dissociation. The people that have dissociative identity disorder are frequently survivors of the kind of sexual violence that he's talking about in these tweets, not the perpetrators. Although it's obviously true that sometimes people are both victims and perpetrators, of course. Anyway, he says that, you know, it's all her fault because she won't tell him what he's supposed to have done. Probably she's avoiding all contact with you because you've committed crimes against her person and she's frightened and she doesn't want to be in the same area as you. She doesn't want to breathe the same air. She doesn't want to look at your face. She doesn't ever want to have anything to do with you again. Apparently, this person has been harassing him on social media and defacing stickers with horrible accusations such as Nico is a rapist, crossing out his name, covering up his tags. This is a guy who goes around covering up Jenni Swayne's stickers all the time, not because she has personally slighted him, but because he doesn't think she should have the right to speak. He says that people in the street are stopping him to ask if it's true because communities don't like to have people in the midst of them who are committing these crimes and going unpunished. It says, I saw a couple of your stickers with nasty things written on them. Is it true you raped someone? Asked a passerby today. That is beyond heartbreaking, especially when I cannot verify if it's true. I'd never do something like that. But what if an alter did? Do you see how it works now with these people who claim to be plural? That's the scariest thing about dissociative disorders. Having to work out first if you did a horrid thing and then taking responsibility for it, if true. And then he says something that is truly shocking. It's happened before, and the victim died of old age before I could apologise. He's saying that previous to this rape accusation, there was another rape that happened to an elderly woman who died. But he's the victim because he didn't get to apologise. He didn't get to absolve himself from committing crimes against her person. And then he says, I do the stickering out of love. Yeah, you seem like a really loving, kind, caring person. These are the actions of a kind person. I can't continue doing that if people see them defaced. No, I'm sure that the health of other people is definitely foremost in your mind. It is not about your reputation. It is about the fact that those poor people might have to see that the words Nico is a rapist repeated around town. He says, if my ex would actually tell me what happened so I can do my damnedest to make up and make sure it never happens again, it would be great. But that's not going to happen because it's his ex's responsibility to explain the consequences of his actions to him. Because she shouldn't just be dealing with her own trauma. She should be able to hold her trauma in check such that she can handhold him through understanding his responsibility for inflicting a serious sex crime upon her person. And then, incredibly, he says, calling people out in public is not the way to go, but I'm seriously considering it now. Jesus, I mean, I'm going to call you out in public because that's not okay. None of that is okay. So the response to that, which has been reported by other people, I believe Graham Linehan made a report about it. And that has resulted in a threat of legal action against him. So, you know, I'm not one of Graham Linehan's fangirls, but I certainly would defend his right to speak openly about public statements that someone has made with no expectation of privacy on social media. I mean, you know, that's how it works. You say these things in public, they are public statements and you are accountable for them. So anyway, so that's what's going on with Nico Cardiff or Layla Stokes, or one of the 50 million other names they use depending on who they claim to be inhabiting the body that they walk around with stickering. And he used to drive trains for a living. I don't know about you, I'm not reassured by the idea that someone is driving my train who doesn't even like have full control of his body, doesn't even know if he's raped somebody. I just hope that he's no longer doing that kind of... I can't think actually of a job where I'm not alarmed by the prospect of coming into contact. So, having dealt with the charming individual we know as Nico Cardiff or Layla Stokes, we are going to come on to his friend Applecore Katie. Now, Applecore Katie is the little pal in the photographs going along with Nico to do stickering in Newport, because there's this dreadful woman on her mobility scooter going around and putting stickers on lampposts. So, Applecore Katie has clearly got either Google alerts or is scouring the web for mentions of his name. And I actually believe it's possible that this individual has some kind of humiliation fetish, because, you know, the stuff they post publicly does invite a certain derogatory comment from the audience. And because I am aware that there are people out there with that fetish, I am not going to indulge it by being personally mean. I don't need to, do I? Katie is claiming that Posie Parker is guilty of defamation because of false accusations of paedophilia. Now, I don't think that what Posie Parker has said is an allegation of paedophilia. What Posie Parker has said is that you've made public statements that indicate you are befriending minors on social media. The fact that you're befriending minors on social media makes people worried, because that's not okay. That's not okay. Now, with Layla, the whole thing could be complete fantasy, because this is a person who's dissociated. They claim they haven't got a clue what's going on. You know, that could be true. I mean, you know, these things are very difficult to unpick. Whereas Katie has got 11-year-olds saying, oh, thanks for subscribing to me on social media. I'm 11 and I've got no content, and yet you're subscribing to me. Thank you. Why are you subscribing to an 11-year-old who's not generating any content? Is it just a way of forming some form of communication channel with that person, maybe? I mean, if you go around doing things like that, Katie, people are going to make the inference that you should not be allowed near children, because you can't be allowed near children if you're not trustworthy. And I mean, you know, this is why it's difficult to safeguard children online, because of people like you who are befriending them inappropriately. There is no reason for any adult to befriend a minor on social media. Just don't do it. Just don't do it at all. Anyway, so Katie has also visited my comment section and has left various comments. The community treated them with the absolute disinterest they deserve. They are always, when these people make comments, they are designed to elicit some form of breach of a terms of service, which would mean that you could have your account sanctioned, you could even be banned. They are not interested in a good faith discussion, so, you know, withhold it from them. Like I say, some of them actually have humiliation fetishes and are looking for you to be mean to them. You know, these people are messed up. They are messed up people. So, grey rock all the way with these individuals. But then I see that Katie's had a go at my mate Dave Blencathra. Lord Blencathra to you, Katie. You better not come for Dave. That's all I'm saying. I'm becoming more of a fan of Dave the more time goes on. And I'm not having it. I'm not having that at all. You've crossed the line. I mean, they both ran across lines like miles down the road. Like, this line is just the latest line, but obviously they've both crossed many lines. So anyway, so the update is there's a protest in Newport on Monday outside the police station. Posie Parker leading the chants. Do get along there if you're within an hour or so's drive. If you live in the South Wales area, around Bristol, anywhere like that, please just cross the street if you see these two characters coming anywhere near you. Don't have anything to do with them. Don't engage them in conversation. Keep your kids tightly held by the hand. And, yeah, leave them to seek the mental health treatment that they really do need. I will update with further news as it develops. Let's hope we now have a little bit of a pause on this story, because I've got a load of other things that I'm trying to get out videos about. And it's very difficult when I keep having to make another video about this. So thanks for coming to the channel today and watching my content. It's been lovely to hang out with you. Please leave me a like or a comment below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're a new visitor. It would be great to see you back here again to watch something else. So hopefully I will see you soon.